Welcome to the Intuitive Ascending Mind podcast with your host, Alia Yasmin Khan. Throughout this series, you'll learn how cultivating a growth mindset can unlock your true potential and impact every aspect of your life. Join Alia and her guest each episode as they dive deep into strategies for personal development and lasting transformation. Now, here's Alia.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Intuitive Ascending Mind podcast. Joining me on today's show is the happiness spreader, Kapil Patel. He is on a mission to help entrepreneurs grow their business in a happy and thriving manner. And he wants to activate happiness in the workplace and happiness in your business and helping you to become the most successful person in your realm. Thank you for joining me on today's show. Kapil, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great, Alia. Thank you for having me.
My
I'm very
pleasure.
excited.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So tell us a little bit about your journey. What brought you to this point? What made you excited? What made you the happiest person that wanted to spread this happiness?
I would say I'm not the happiest person in the world, but to f- con- I'm on my journey to continuously learn to become more happier um, at work, in my personal life, and as much as I can. Right? It's a journey. There will be always ups and downs, but how you can find your more happiness and true happiness, bliss, I would call. So that's what I'm on my journey. How did I started? um, there is a many stories, but I will start with one story which put me on my journey. After I finished my masters from Lancaster University, as with everyone else, I had a big dream to make it big in the corporate, make lots of money. When I started applying, almost after applying 397 applications, all I got was rejection, and one more rejection. And finally, who hired me? KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Not to develop their software, but to mop the floor, clean the utensils in
Oh my
toilets. So at that,
goodness.
yes. So it was very difficult and devastating period of my time. I was little, I would say not little, but I was very disappointed, not happy at my work. And I thought, like, what's going on? What will happen to me? And then at that time, my friend who gave me the book, its name is You Can Win, and that helped me to find gratitude, to become grateful. I will
Mm.
not go too much detail in this story because I have shared that in detail with my upcoming book with Brian Tracy. So I'll send the link for people to learn a little bit more about that book and the story. But that helped me to uh, become happy at work. That helped me to become grateful at work. Be grateful to be happy. And I was like Eddie Murphy from the movie Coming to America. He was at McDonald's, but I was the happiest at KFC. That's
Very
how my first journey started.
okay. That's an exciting story because I think it's very humbling when you end up in such a situation because it really makes you do some self-reflection as to there's such an anticipation, and I have an issue sometimes with the way that our education system works. Like there's such an anticipation that you're going to get out of it, and all of a sudden you're going to be, you're going to be at a certain point, and that does not happen. You still the education system does not teach you the things that you need to really like run, grow, expand a business. They give you the bookwork part of it, and that's cool, but it's not practical until you have experienced it. Experience is what drives us, right? So
Yep,
that's, yeah,
absolutely. That's true.
yeah. So tell me, What motivated you to do the book with Brian Tracy?
Yes. So when I read that book, You Can Win, that inspired me and changed my life, changed my character. That was the first book I read from self-development point of view. I was very studious, but I never read any book to improve myself. I read a lot of book to improve my knowledge, but
Mm-hmm.
not becoming a better person. And that changed completely. So then I decided that I wanted to write one book one day. And then few years passed, and I had this still dream. And all I wanted to say was, I don't want to die before writing and publishing one book. So that led me to write my first book, which is about 8 domains of our life,
Mm.
and how you can not only focus on just one area of our life, but focus on 8 domains of our life. So that was my first book that I co-authored with almost 2 years back. And then almost like 6 months back, I had an opportunity to work with Brian Tracy on this amazing book. And I had one of his favorite book. Brian Tracy has written 94 books, and out of them, many are bestsellers. But one of my favorite and which I read was Eat That Frog, because
Oh
I
yeah.
need to work on my time management.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Have you read that book?
Yes, I've read it. It's a really good book. Really good book.
Yeah.
Like Brian
Yes.
Tracy books, like this is the one that I'm currently immersed in for the second time because I don't just read books for like the first time. I actually read them like over and over again because what the first time you read a book, like you get some of the knowledge, but it's not a lot of the knowledge. And then the second time you read it, you're like, how come I didn't notice this, before? And then, the third time you read it, you're like, okay, I'm kind of getting it. So yeah, I do read books over and over again. So Eat That Frog is a
Yeah. So yeah,
phenomenal book.
definitely. So yes, that was amazing book and it helped me. So I was definitely a big fan of Tracy, and when I had this opportunity being a co-author, then
Mhm.
actually I was not sure should I write my own book or I want to co-author with Brian Tracy. So I asked my audience and my fans and my colleagues and some of my supporters on this journey that okay, would you like to read book from me or would you like to read from 15, 16 co-authors? With one of them would be Brian Tracy. And I was surprised. I thought that people love me so much, so they want to read only my book. But most of them, they said we would love to hear from others. And when I started journey and writing my own chapter, and my chapter is about for leaders to have a guide. I call it like GAPS framework, GAAPS GAPS framework. And using that framework, empower your employees to infuse purpose, passion, and joy in their work and create a thriving and productive culture in just 90 seconds. So I will be writing about that. And when I started writing that chapter, as I have to just only write one chapter, I spent almost 40 to 50 hours and make it really, really amazing chapter. And I think back that if I have to write 10 chapters, I would have not given as much as in depth and making it really conversational and appealing if I would have write whole book at this time. Yes. So maybe in the future I will, but this is how I thought that, okay, let me go and jump on with the book with Brian Tracy.
Sure. One of the things that I like about the book is that you're in the book, there's multiple different chapters and each person has a different area of expertise. So as a business owner
Absolutely.
purchasing the book, like there's a chapter on leadership, there's a chapter on branding and positioning, there's a chapter on happiness in the workplace, there's a chapter on mindset, like that's like my chapter was on that, and like just different. So, and it's all information. And the cool thing about it as well is that you're gaining knowledge that these experts have had and have trimmed down to give the most impact in each chapter. And because everything that you've given to the chapter is like impactful, because I know you would want to put the best stuff out there, right? So like, and that goes for every co-author in there. So like, I hope, my hope is that people really get the takeaways from these books, because they're phenomenal books with phenomenal experts in their field and motivational individuals just like yourself that are making a difference. What
Yep,
mo
absolutely. So 15 to 20 best leaders are
Yes.
writing and sharing their stories and practical tips to make business thrive and become successful.
Yes. What motivated you on this particular path in life? Because it's a little bit different than, what you've gone through with your first job and things like that. Like what bridged the gap and said, this is the realm I want to be in?
Wonderful question, Alia. So that was when I started my journey to be grateful. And as I was grateful, even while doing the job at KFC, just flipping the burger and mopping the floor, as I was happy, universe gave me more. I got wonderful wife. I was I had an opportunity to come to USA, start my another business in IT as well, and also my I had a good success in my IT career as well. But then when I came to USA, I was surprised that there is a 5 weeks and Saturday Sunday off, while it's different in India. People work 6 days and they have just only one day off. So people were just waiting for Friday to be happy. They had Monday blues, which I have never heard or never experienced till 2013. In 2013, that's when I encountered my Monday blues. That's when I was waiting for my Fridays. Even though I was grateful, I learned to be grateful, but I was not connecting with my work. I didn't have purpose and passion. I lost that because I wanted to become a professional speaker. But it's like I wanted to become a professional speaker, so I cannot just jump on and then, quit my job and start immediately my business and start making and replace my good income. It was not the case. So then I have to learn, I have to explore and find out the way for me to be happy at work, for me to find the purpose in what I am doing, to find that passion and joy. And I was able to learn through mentoring and coaching and various trainings I took and the books I read from happiness advantage to happiness hypothesis. And all of these make me learn. And during that journey, I also realized, unfortunately, 66 percentage employees are disengaged.
Mm.
Almost 2 out of 3 employees are disengaged. They just wait for Fridays to be happy, unfortunately, and they are sleepwalking. They need micromanagement.
Yeah.
They need constant supervision and have to tell what to do. They are not doing what they are supposed to do, but they are doing only what they are told to do. And because of that, there is a huge productivity loss. Believe you will not believe. According to the Gallup Employee Engagement Survey, 9% of the GDP of the world is lost because employees are not engaged. 8.8 trillion T,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
trillion dollars are lost because of the employees are not engaged. So that made me that, okay, now I have learned tools and techniques and practically I can make my Mondays magical and marvelous. Not only my Mondays, but every day. Then I want to share with employees. I wanted to create that culture for employers and entrepreneurs so they can have a thriving and happy culture.
That's wonderful. You know, I've worked with so many businesses, and what I've discovered is when I'm working with them is that they have so much structure in place that it doesn't give the employees the freedom to create something within the realm that they're working on. And sometimes that structure is great, like the employees need it, but I think there should be like a creative department that allows them to take their ideas, because so many times you have this amazing, talented individual that's there that sees things differently, but because maybe their manager doesn't see things the way that they don't allow for that expansion in creative energy into the workplace. And that always amazes me, because every single one of us, we have a different way at looking at things. We have a different way of problem solving. And I think business owners, good management teams will support that expression of creativity in the workplace, because ultimately, when you're able to express yourself to your highest potential, that's when you're happy at your job, because you feel validated, you feel empowered when you can go out and execute a task, you know?
Yes, I completely agree. So what I have learned that you need a three things to make it happen, to have a happy and thriving culture. And all three ingredients are important, which is like three pillars, you can call it, or maybe three makes it tango. One of them is employer. Yes, employer and the owner and the company or organization, that makes a huge part in this process.
Sure.
Second one is manager. How the manager and leaders, they appreciate, they take care the employees' growth and wellness of the employees. Third component, which has not been focused, and that's where I have been focusing, employees. I have worked many years as a contractor. And believe me, for contractors, they of course, as a contractor, you get paid more. But the problem with the contractor is no one is worried about or talking about your goals, your learning, your 5 years goal or plan. They are ignored, right?
Yes.
So I have to learn myself. And then that's how I came up with this quote, which I call it like, there is a saying, old saying, that employees do not leave companies, they leave managers.
I will power here. Success isn't for everyone. It demands focus, discipline, and strategy. Introducing the OWLS method, designed for those who take their goals seriously. O. Become the observer of your thoughts and feelings. Analyze them. Become aware of your emotions and beliefs. Only then can you master your mind. W. You should write down your goals, every detail, every step, and write the thoughts and affirmations that will drive you relentlessly toward them. L. Listen. Fill your mind only with knowledge that will move you to your goal. Write affirmations that fuel your ambition. No distractions. No compromise. S. Speak with certainty. Your words reflect your beliefs. When you speak, it's not a possibility, it's an inevitability. It's confidence. Observe, write, listen, and speak. The OWLS method. Master your thoughts. Conquer your goals.
But I wanted to empower the employees with so much amazing practical tools. So the employees become so amazing that manager do not want to leave them.
That's amazing.
So
That's a
that's a
great target
perspective. That's
audience.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's a perspective shift I am focusing on, because if you have like Gallup employment engagement survey last few years, it has been like spike ups and down, but they have been steady, even though like managers have been empowered and asked to do many things, but it has been steady. It has not grown drastically, because if the employees are not ready or if employees are not motivated, how much more managers can do to change that. So that's why we need to have little bit more focus on employees by empowering them. And when you talk about creative, having that creative department or creative way to have them structurize the job, I 100% agree. Recently I read one book from Dr. Happy. He call him Dr. Happy. His name is Dr. Tim Sharp, and he has written a best-selling book. It's Habits for happiness at work. And in one of the he has 10 habits. One of the habit is job crafting, which also I share in my own experience, and in my way as well. But what Dr. Team says, there are three things an employee can do, even though there is no creative department. How many companies will create the creative department to create the job? Very few. Even though if we like, if we make employer understand, manager understand, but how many they will do? Hardly anyone will do. But as an employee, you can do three ways. You can craft your job. You can create your job. One of them is, it's like, what do you do? So it's like a scope of the task or scope of the work. You can increase little bit scope of the work or increase little bit task of the work, align based on your strength, right? Manager will not have any problem if you are doing a little bit extra work or extra things.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
definitely. Yes, sometimes you have to reduce, but when reducing, there are two ways you can do it. One is basically you can work with your manager and explain that this is not my strength. Can you delegate this work? I'm ready to take some additional responsibility. And manager would be happy if you encourage and discuss with him. So that's like, what part of job crafting. And there are other couple of two items as well, how you craft your job.
Mm-hmm. That's a very, I love that approach because there are some things that we're just not skilled at doing. We're just not cut out to do. And we have to be able to recognize that, within ourselves. Because so many times you will find, like, even in different types of job environments, some people are naturally great sellers. They can sell anything, they can sell ice to an Eskimo. And then you
Yes.
have some people that are just not strong in selling, and you can give them all the techniques, you can give them the script, and it just doesn't come natural to them. But you put them like to do data analysis or something like that, and they just excel at that. It's because like they're just in the right space, they're doing the right thing. And the ones that are, should be selling are the ones that have to be developed to, will develop naturally in that space. But I think it's very interesting. I do believe that sometimes, especially when we're younger, we tend to put ourselves in a box when we're just entering into the work field. Like we tend to not venture out. And I remember I was grateful when I was younger because I had someone, a mentor, that saw me in a different light, and they really pushed me. And I mean when I say pushed me, I mean like took me and threw me in some ice cold water. And that made the biggest difference because she saw in me what I wasn't able to see in me. And it developed. And I lived in New York back then, and her name was Heba, and she took me. I was working like part-time at this job, and she's like, no, I want you to become the manager. And I was very young at that age, and she just took me and like basically pushed me into that position. That position changed my life. Like I remember just being so motivated and so like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. And it was great to have a manager. I think one of her strengths was to believe in me as well. And sometimes we need that in the workplace as well. We need managers to believe in the, in the capability of the employee as well. And I love what you do because it's also an outside perspective kind of coming in and being not being jaded by any thoughts that somebody said to you about that person, but generalizing, like sitting with them and maybe just grasping what their talents are, grasping their interests, grasping their goals, grasping how they want to see their life transition, over the next 5 years or whatever the case might be. I think that allows you to kind of position them, in the eyes of the management team or the business owner too.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. And frankly speaking, right, like there are many trainings, many efforts has been put on for the leaders, for the managers, right? What I wanted to emphasize again on the employees. Employees can take the charge of their growth, take the charge of their happiness, take the charge of their productivity, right? That is most important thing. Like that's where I wanted to come in and help employers, company that have me help your employees to they take the charge. Because when they take the charge, then the manager's job will be very easy. Then the job of the company will be very easy. So it's like, I have seen or observed many managers or HR or the owner of the company, they get burned out trying to improve the culture, trying to make the employees engaged, because people are not motivated. People don't have tools and techniques or like mindset or understanding. Because when I had that my Monday blues, and when I was waiting for Friday, I had reflection and conversation with coach and my guru, I call him, that if I am only happy on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I have 40 years of life ahead at my work. How many years I will be happy out of 40 years? Only 10 years.
That's
And
crazy.
then not all Friday, Saturday, Sunday are also happy when you have kids and so many other responsibility. So I am only like 10% happy. That's not what we wanted to have in our life. We do everything for what reason? For mainly one reason, to be happy, to, get married, to be happy, to have children, to be happy. Sometimes people do divorce to be happy, to find the happiness,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that's when, like, I wanted to challenge the people that don't wait for Friday. Don't wait for Friday.
Uh, it's funny because happiness is definitely something I think humans chase after on a consistent basis. It's that feeling of happiness. We are feeling-based individuals and we want to be at a destination that is based in a feeling. And we have this idea behind happiness, but I'll tell you, I've kind of uncovered in my own life that happiness just comes from like a happy soul, like a happy within. And being happy regardless within, regardless of the outside situation, has made an impact in my own life. Um, do you feel that resounding kind of happiness that resides within you?
Yes, I would definitely say. I wouldn't say I will not have my ups and downs. I had almost like every 10 years, I have major breakdown. I have gone through depression as well, almost couple of years back. I was so fortunate, have family and friends around me who uplifted me. I had really big breakdown at work. I was almost fired from my job, and manager was kind enough to allow me that, okay, you can continue working. But then I said, okay, no, I need a break. I took a break. I had to go through I had to go through the therapy as well. So I have gone through those, so I can relate it. It's not like you will have always happiness. You will have ups and downs. But what I have learned, what I have uh, got some of the tools that you can shift that state of mind of being down, being depression faster. So I have received this or learned this tool from Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within training, which was 4 hours of training. And in that training, I have learned one simple tool which he shares in his priming, in his morning priming tool. So that tool, it's simple as like, you are combining breathing with moving. So breathing and moving together, and that change your state of mind. Because what I have learned is when we have state of that mind which you are down, so you are in your mind or you in your head, you cannot just change your head or mind like that. You need a body to move it. You need to move your body. When your body start moving, then your mind start moving and coming out of from that state. So that's also I incorporate as a part of my gaps framework, which I'm going to share in the book as well as and the workshop, which I have 60 minutes keynote speech, where I have all the 4 tools, practical tools, no bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Needs to have I'm big believer of practical tools which you can apply immediately, right away, and then it can start making the changes in the life. Yes, we need motivation, but we need a tool and techniques which can help you to change.
Yeah. I've also had some moments in my past that I've encountered some level of depression. And what I've uncovered in my own self is that depression is the suppression of expression. So when I'm able to express
Mm.
myself with fluidity and just like you say, take action in the expression, when I'm able to bring that to light, then the depression, the feeling of poor me versus the world out there fades away because it's now an empowered me that says I am going to dictate the reality that I have that I'm observing. And
Mhm.
that's where you can create that shift from depression over to expression. And other than that, you have this moment. You see, another thing that I've uncovered is that we as humans were naturally designed to look alike. We're not designed to look at the good things. And just like you mentioned earlier with gratitude, that brings our attention, like our focused attention, over to the things we appreciate about life instead of looking at the one thing that might be missing in our life. But our natural tendencies is to bring us to that one thing that's missing. And as we bring complete focus into that realm, then we suffer from depression because we're not expressing ourselves. We're not expressing gratitude. We're not expressing love. We're not expressing compassion. We're not in the expression realm. And that depression, unfortunately, can lead to like medications, which I think just kind of like block our flow, or lead to, suicide, God forbid. There's so many things that it can lead to that just makes it much worse. So I love that you have a path to create for others so that they can overcome these challenges. There's not enough of us in the world that share this type of knowledge with people. You have to be able to take action. You have to be able to pull yourself. And much like you said, I think for you, like having a family support system was great. Some people have that and some people don't. And that's what causes their depression. And even if it's not family, you can have like your friends as a support system. You can have whatever it is that will take you. Sometimes these days it could just be a YouTube motivational video that's your support system. Like these days it's easy for us, right?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah. That's so exciting. What are your goals now as you move forward? What are your primary goals in life?
I I have I have one goal which is basically I have many goals, but one of the goal which is basically create inspiring and happy culture at work. I wanted to have people, employees, to be happy every day. Of course, there will be moments, ups and downs. And when I'm talking about happiness, it doesn't mean just like, oh, yeah, 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 or like something that kind of happiness, but happy within, right? Like, as you said, happy within, which is basically you find the purpose in what you do. Whatever we are doing, universe has some plan. You call it like whether you believe in God or not, or you if you believe in some superpower or some universe has some plan why you are here, what you are doing. There is a reason. When when person who is delivering water, he is helping so many people to quench their thirst,
Mm,
but he doesn't feel that way. I want that water delivery man to feel that the purpose, what difference he's making to the world. And that's what I wanted to create, that happy, inspiring, and productive culture. Not only one company, two companies, all over the world, starting with USA and also India. These are the two countries I want to focus to start with. And eventually, I wanted to see that all the employees transform their Mondays from mundane to magical and marvelous by infusing the purpose, passion, and joy at their work. So that is my goal.
that is a wonderful, wonderful goal. Um, In doing that process, are you coaching them individually or are you coaching them in like group sessions? Do you do group sessions or is it more individual one-on-one?
I have three ways which currently I am helping them. One is, of course, my book is there, uh, 60 minutes keynote speech or workshop. And of course, I have a next level, which is like a half day or 1 day workshop as well, which I work with the corporates. So it's corporate and employers where
Mm-hmm.
I can help them. And I do consulting with HR team to have that implement some of the ideas, understand and identify what are their challenges in retaining employees, because nowadays the retaining employees is a big challenge, and the reason is they don't find the purpose and passion what they are doing, at least with the new millennials and generation Z. So that's something I help companies in coaching. And at the employees level, the employee can directly get the some of these tool or workshop on a video based training online as well, so they can have that as well. So I wanted to empower employees as well as employer, so I have tools and solutions for both of them.
That's wonderful. How can people reach out and connect with you?
Absolutely. I have my website inspiringhappinessatwork.com, so people can reach out on my website, as well as LinkedIn, linkedin.com /in/, happiness spreader at work.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think you're making the world happier one day at a time, so I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Alia.
Thank you so much for joining me and being on the show. Guys, we're going to have the links to Kapil Patel's website as well as his social media links below. I want to thank you for being on the show, and you guys make it your greatest day ever. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.